What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I wanted to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what the news is saying about the market so far, what data just came out that's very, very important, and what the news is saying about Tesla as time progresses. But before I break anything down about all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Weeble link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Weeble, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you are guaranteed up to 12 free stocks. This offer ends in just 4 days, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's break down what's going on with Tesla and the market. Tesla's currently at about 210 a share right now. We're seeing some buyers trying to defend it from its previous low. And for now, it's looking quite decent, but we want to be watching some key levels just for safety. Now, what's good for the bulls, what's helping the market pump would be the fact that PCE came in aligned with expectations, as I suspected. If you look at the data, core PCE month over month was 0.3%, aligning with expectations. Personal income 0.3%, aligning with expectations. Same thing with personal spending. Personal spending was a little bit up actually, but that's nothing too out of the ordinary after what we saw yesterday. The PCE price index was as expected, and everything was very close to them. The two biggest ones were PCE year over year at 3.4%, aligning with expectations. And then core PCE year over year was 3.7%, also aligning with expectations. So everything aligned with expectations as we suspected because CPI did the same thing. And now we have Barr giving a speech from the Fed. He's going to be giving a speech very soon at 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. And then at 10 o'clock a.m., we have the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Reports coming out. And that's going to be the last critical piece of data for the day. So we have inflationary expectations, the 5-year inflationary expectations, and etc. So expect some volatility at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time or 30 minutes after the market opens. For some news affecting the markets, stocks are on track for a losing week as we enter Friday. We saw two significant sell-offs on the S&P 500 for Thursday and also for Wednesday. So we'll see if Friday can give us a balance, but I do believe the odds greatly favor that. Now, when it comes to Amazon Prime, their operating margin is a little thicker these days. They basically said they achieved a margin of 7.8% during the third quarter, which is not bad whatsoever. Its best reporting was an 8.2% margin in the first quarter of 2021, so their cost-cutting mission is still working quite well. With Ford, it's the first company with Detroit three automakers to strike a deal with the UAW, and we'll see what happens to the other ones moving forward. There are more global conflicts continuing, and looking at some oil earnings, they are showing more and more reports showing declines, and things like this happen during periods like this. Uh, you know, Looking forward of how costs are increasing for them, not to mention the war that's going on. It's making things more difficult, but it is what it is. Now, with that happening, the price of crude is affecting them, and their expenditures have gone up alongside, the higher inflationary environment, which is affecting their earnings. But it's not really that significant compared to like an Amazon, so that's why it's not affecting the market as much. For Tesla, there's been a slight increase in the Model Y price, breaking the trend. And with this continuing to do what it's doing, we'll see what happens with this moving forward. It's nothing too insane. It's not really affecting Tesla too negatively. So we will just see. But for now, Tesla's still holding up very nicely. So what do I see on the Tesla chart? We have a possible inverse head and shoulders like structure that could lead to a pump towards this 220 area if we break 215. We also have 217.72 to watch for, which is our 200 EMA. Now, with this inverse head and shoulders, here are some important levels to watch for. If Tesla breaks, well, we're currently at 210. We need to test 212. If we get above 212, watch 215. If we get above that, watch 216.8, which is not that tough resistance. We have tougher resistance between 218, which is close to the 200 EMA, and also 220 to be watching for. If we get above 220, watch 222.5 and then 225. For support, you're going to be watching 210 on Tesla, 208, 206, and 205 below that, 202.5, and then we have 200. My gut tells me Tesla is looking a bit more bullish. We're either going to see Tesla kind of like decline initially, then bounce and start pushing up towards, I would say, 215 plus. And if we break 215, we're going to see 220 pretty quickly. or it just starts popping as soon as we open and we start pushing for at least 215. If we break this, watch it push for 220 plus. I think the odds favor some upside, and Tesla getting very close to at least this 200 EMA at 217.78 for today. As far as SPY goes, we're still pumping right now. We're going to be watching this 415 resistance at the 50 EMA on the 30 minutes time frame. So on SPY, we have a nice double bottom like formation that has developed. And with this forming, it could be developing into kind of like a nice bottoming structure, at least temporarily, right? Doesn't have to be forever, just for the time being, just for today. So we could see 415 being tested. If we break this, you're going to be watching 416, 417, 418. And if we get above all those, 419 has some resistance, and 420 is going to be stronger resistance. For support, you're going to be watching this 413 area, 412.5. And if we lose 412.5, watch this thing come down to 411.5, around that range, followed by 411 and 410. Now, at 410 to 411, we have very strong support right there. So there's a good chance that even if we do drop, buyers will step in. But I believe that the most likely possibility is we either kind of like drop a bit and then bounce and start pushing up towards 417 plus, or we just push up from open and we just gap up and go to 417 plus to see more upside. I think the odds greatly favor that. For the QQQ, and don't forget SPY and Tesla, they also had bullish divergences. QQQ also has one. There's a possible inverse head and shoulders developing for more potential upside. It doesn't have to be insane upside, but we can see at least some. So watch this 345 area support, 344, 342.6, and 340. For resistance, watch 348. If you break down, watch 350, 352, 353.5, and 355. With this inverse head and shoulders, with the fact that Amazon beat on earnings and the inflationary numbers were decent, we're just waiting for the Michigan consumer sentiment reports. But this looks like an inverse head and shoulders. The odds do favor this thing retesting 350, maybe trying to break above that. So watch to see if we drop first and hold support to bounce, or if we just break out from here. The odds do favor this thing breaking 350, in my honest opinion. For Nvda stock, we also have an inverse head and shoulders. If we're bullish, we're watching 410 right now. If we break this, we'll be watching this 414 area, 416 right here to 420 would be the next level. Then we have 422.5 and 425 as resistance. For support, you're going to be watching 407 to 409, that entire zone of support. 405, 402, and 400 as three support zones. This thing could drop a little bit, then start to bounce, or I think we might start pushing for 420. I favor that for now, looking at the inverse head and shoulders and how it's looking. Aapl, last but not least, for Aapl stock. Aapl stock is looking not the strongest, very stationary, very flat, but it had a slight bullish divergence. So I do favor some upside for it. I don't think it's going to be that crazy. So we have 168 as resistance, which is the 50 EMA. So watch 168, this 168 area right here. It's going to be a key resistance. If we break 168, you're going to be watching 169.3, 170.26, and then above this we have 172 coming. For support, you're going to be watching 166. If we lose this, watch 165, 163.8, and etc. My gut feeling would be that Apple's going to test 168 and try to break above it, get close to 169. We have these imbalances up here. We have a double bottom like formation. You could even interpret this as an inverse head and shoulders. Let me just double check. So it could be an inverse head and shoulders, but it's not the strongest looking one. So there could be some upside, or at least an attempt to bounce on Apple, try to fill these imbalances towards, above 168. So I do favor that happening. I think this could help the market bounce a little bit more. So I still favor the upside. I think that even if we drop a bit, there's lots of demand on SPY at 410 to 411. I think buyers will help step in and push the market higher. I think Tesla also has more potential. We have a potential inverse head and shoulders right here. So watch these levels carefully, guys, and do what you have to do. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks again. Tesla and the market to the moon because the long term is very bright. And peace out.